While we're getting that set up, I'd like to echo Dr. Arsalan's warm welcome. Truly, it's an honor and privilege to be amongst such esteemed individuals, colleagues, academia, professionals, both in the private and not-for-profit space. So thank you so much, Dr. Saab, to host us and allow for this conversation to occur, and hopefully this will be a genesis of wonderful engagement go forward. So just to quickly introduce a few of us that are on the call. Myself, I'm the program manager, strategic advisor for an organization called Hoopo. It's a not-for-profit organization focused on sustainable development. Our whole motto is to help underprivileged communities come out of poverty, being aligned with the UN's SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And so as part of that, one of the key areas that we always are very keen on is about having and being carbon neutral, and hence the conversation today. Excuse me, I'm just battling a cold, so pardon me coughing in your ears. So alongside myself, I'm honored to have our president, Nasir Qureshi, our founder, master visionaire, retired professional who has made this his, not just his hobby, but literally eats, breathes, sleeps this 24/7, working around the globe. I'm also privileged to have two of our partners who are working in this space, Liz Bowles from UK, who is the CEO from Farm Carbon Toolkit, and Dr. Ronika Thakur, also from UK, who is basically the founder of Global Sustainable Futures Network. Thank you both for joining us as well. So without further ado, let me try sharing my screen to see if that works. Wonderful. And share. Okay, I'm pretty sure that you can see that now. So what we want to talk about today is really the cross section and intersection that we have. Again, we're honored to be here in front where we have the opportunity of having world-class academia in the likes of, oh, I forgot to mention actually, our very esteemed professor who's also part of it. I was thinking of the cross-section and forgot to mention Dr. Wahid Sulangi from Sindh Agriculture University, who's the assistant professor for crop protection, as part of our esteemed guest today. And so where we're at and the opportunity in front of us is exactly this, the intersection of East and West, globally recognized academia in that of University of Alberta, Sindh Agriculture University, a esteemed university within Tanjung city, province of Sindh and Pakistan, country Pakistan, where we can talk about how to make carbon neutral villages. As you're all aware, Pakistan is one of the fifth biggest, largest countries who's currently impacted by virtue of climate change. We know there are many toolkits available that are available and used in the Western world, in that of UK as an example, especially this thing called the Farm Carbon Toolkit, and hence why the esteemed Liz Balls is with us. And so what we want to do is take the opportunity to get these intersection of the minds from Sindh Agriculture University as well as University of Alberta to come together, exchange this dialogue, and to determine how we can apply as a first step to even evaluate and measure what those carbon emissions are in local villages to understand what impact they're having as a country as a whole. One of Pakistan's main economic powerhouses is it's a agricultural based country. A lot of its EDP relies on it. And so how do we essentially measure and then improve on those carbon emissions? So there's a number of initiatives that we have highlighted here. I won't bore you to death and going in very technical right off the bat. But what I did want to do was to highlight specifically a use case that can help you appreciate what Hoopo is doing on the ground. And so we're operating in a number of villages within Pakistan already. We're a Canadian-based not-for-profit organization. And as I mentioned in my introduction, we specialize in helping the impoverished become self-sustainable. And our whole motto, in fact, is redefining charity from pity to paychecks. So through the concept of microfinancing, micro-entrepreneurism, we are helping these impoverished people get out of debt and have self-sustaining jobs that we're creating for them through many different initiatives. One of those initiatives is specifically related to livestock fattening. Again, it's a common staple opportunity within the country, but almost the status quo is local villagers often have to take lots and lots of debt in order to own some of these cattle. They're not trained in terms of how to feed, how to manage the byproducts, i.e. manure. And we know manure is one of the biggest emitters of emissions and causing some of the impacts globally with respect to this issue. And so the problem just gets more and more paramount, right? You have an issue on the people, you have an issue on the planet. And so what we've come up with is an innovative way to address all these things. And so while we are doing that, again, the opportunity is to improve that by working with academic institutions like yourselves, so that we can really understand, again, how to measure and then correct. We have an investment-based model where we take investors' dollars. So I'll go through the use case in a bit of an animation, if you may, where we take investment-based dollars to procure the cattle. We have a secure investment-based portal where investors are able to do so. We work then with local procurement on the ground within the villages to procure the cattle using the investment-based backing. We then establish micro-entrepreneurs on the ground. We are literally putting these people on the map. These are people who technically don't exist because they don't have ID cards, they don't have bank accounts. And so we, with the local entity, help these folks get established. We give them cattle that they can rear for a number of months and take many benefits even during the cattle fattening process. The manure, so aside from milk from some of them, we also store the manure into what's called the biogas dome. And the byproduct of biogas dome is we're providing clean energy to multiple homes, enough so that they can cook multiple meals a day, free of charge, of course. Like there's no fee for this. It's a byproduct benefit of this. And then there's also, by virtue of the biogas dome, aside from the gas that is produced, there's also a byproduct slurry, if you may. And that is a natural organic fertilizer, which helps what's considered normally saline-rich land, non-irrigatable land to become saline become irrigatable again. Also a natural, beautiful byproduct of the biogas dome. And then 4 to 6 months later, I know it says 4 months here, usually it's almost up to 6 months, we take the cattle back and there's a religious need at the end of every 6 months to a year for a religious sacrifice for Muslims where they celebrate Eid. It's called Eid al-Adha. We just finished one Eid. It's an Eid which is after the month of Ramadan where we're fasting, but the other Eid is honoring the sacrifices of Prophet Abraham. And that celebration occurs once a year. And so we take orders through our portal. We sell these cattle. We either sell them to the live markets, or we do the slaughtering as required based off the number of orders we receive. And we then distribute that meat again to those same impoverished people. We store these in solar powered freezers. And if and when there always has been a profit, we give 45% of it to the micro entrepreneurs, 15% to the local entity, and 40% to the investor who helped kickstart the whole cycle. And at the end of it, you essentially have a carbon neutral cattle, and hence our staple tagline, we're methane busters. right? So this is just a one use case of how we really take the vision and mission of creating carbon neutral villages into actual demonstration. We've been doing this for 6 years now, by the way. And aside from the plant and organization, sorry, not organization, the agricultural land and benefit to the planet, from a people perspective as well, these micro entrepreneurs gain 2.5x income in comparison to farmers in their same region, and investors have been making over 10% return upon their initial investment. So I'll pause there because that's quite a bit of a mouthful in terms of a use case being demonstrated to you. And I'll maybe turn it over to Liz Vowles to take it from here to see if she'd like to add, not if, but maybe you can continue the conversation.